Hey guys, this is Warwick from Qxh8 back for another 5-minute game today. Looks like I'm playing as white against an opponent from Brazil. I'm going to start with E4. My opponent plays E5, I'll play Nf3 and we'll go into the King's Pawn, King's Knight variation. I'll look to play a Roy Lopez and we'll see how things go from here. I have played this opening before, but I must admit it's been a very long time since I've actually gone ahead and followed it through. So let's see where this leads us. I'm just playing fairly natural moves now rather than anything specific that I can see or that I'm thinking might work. May have been better to take there on C6, but nonetheless I think we'll drop back for a while. Play D4 now. I think I will take on that square there. And now I think I'm going to play forward to D5 rather than taking on E5, just so that I can kick that knight around. Now B3, preparing for C4 in the future. That's my idea, and I'm going to play that now. We'll actually take over there on B5. The reason is I really want a strong defense of that D5 pawn. So any way that I can defend that enough times to protect it from really being kicked will probably mean that I can keep his knight over there on the E7 square or around those back couple of ranks for a while. He's offered me his bishop there and I'll allow him to take that because I'm not concerned at all about the options across over here on the H file. Doesn't worry me. Okay. Now I wanted to play that rook across to something like F3, although if advancing up the board I may have some risks. I think I'll get that knight out. I'll trade that away for my bishop. Okay. Now where to next? This is not ideal anymore. I think I've really thrown away some of the advantage that I had there. I'll challenge that B file as well with my rook, and I'm looking to see some kind of interchange here. If not, I may try and force that exchange. I think I will do that. Now I'm going to play my queen across to C1. The reason I'm going to play across to C1 was actually because I was then looking to play something like G4, and then if takes en passant on the G3 square, I've got queen takes G5, although that does weaken the F3 square now that I think of it. Now that I can see he's played queen B4, what I think I'll do is I will advance up the board with C5, which is actually a revealed attack on his queen there, and will allow me to retake on the D6 square. I have to say this game's been a little bit back and forth so far. I'm not entirely happy with how it's gone, but we're still in the mix here and the material position is equal. Okay, he's actually taken that. Not a problem for me because after retakes, I've got retakes and I've got another take with check. The question now is, do I drop back and try and protect that pawn on A2, or do I take on G5? Actually, I see something else, and that is to take on E7. Taking now on Rc6. This was to be expected. And now I suspect he thinks that I was going to take on C5. I'm not going to do that, actually. I will instead play Rook C6 check. And now take on A6. How do I get this off the board now? Look, I think my priority is going to be to get rid of the pawn on the A file. I'll happily sacrifice my A pawn to do that. Playing G3 now to start working my king up into a safer position and exchange some pieces on the king side. Also because I didn't want to be the first to move on the queen side there, I wanted him to be. So what I'll do now is I will retake. Again, not too concerned with the movement up the board of that rook. I do have to say only 22 now seconds to go. It is not ideal. Expecting now takes on D5, and if takes on D5 then I'll be retaking on C2. This was all expected at the moment. I may actually be able to trap him in the corner over here with a couple of cheeky checks. Just trying to get some pieces off the board now. I have to say, I think this is a bit of a shameful way to play, to be honest. I don't like when people try and waste time. Nonetheless, the lesson there is for me to move more quickly. I really don't think that was appropriate to call that a win to my opponent. I definitely think that that should have been called a draw. But you live and you learn. My lesson is to move faster, simply. Checking back at something like H7, you can see I definitely had the advantage. Now, I know I misplayed that. That's for me to work on. Nonetheless, we'll jump into the analysis now. Let's see what we've got. Alright, so up in the top right hand corner you can see that my opponent, I definitely had the advantage here for a while. That was when I was talking about I had two extra pawns on the board there, and I just simply didn't play it correctly given I didn't have much time left available to move. There was one time when my opponent had a slight advantage, negative 1.3, and you can see it was also about negative 2.4 at earlier times in the game. My playing of the rook to the e4 square wasn't so good. I don't really know why I made that move, in hindsight. I think I may have been thinking of piling up and sacrificing a knight on the e5 square, but that wasn't ideal. So anyway, checking back to the top right hand corner, 89.5 accuracy for me, 79.2 for my opponent, so I think I did play better, and that's probably reflected in my many more chances to win the game than he had, but that's okay. 38 best moves to 32, 3 excellent moves for each of us, 8 good moves for me, 16 for him, a couple of book moves for each of us, but as you can see the blunders were where it really went wrong for both of us. 5 for me, 7 for my opponent, but I did have a missed win, and I think we may find that I actually had a forced mate, a mate in 4 here, and yet I missed it. Unbelievable. Certainly a lot to work on for me, but I did like the fact that we got some advantage in the early game here. So you can see on the analysis that this was about 7 moves in, and we had a reasonable advantage. Now I let that slip a little bit by playing d3. It was a book move, but it wasn't too good. It could have been a little bit more aggressive into the center. Going back to that d3 move, the suggestion is d4 actually. Now that's a move which is just a little bit more aggressive than my usual type of play, but if we skip ahead and we see how things work out had we played that correctly, you can see I've got good center control, especially with those pawns there on c4, d5 and e4. My knights are both in the game. I've got an open diagonal to get that bishop out, at the very least towards e3, and I don't see a problem with that, although yeah, playing playing d3 on move 7 was a bit more passive, and that's a bit more my style. So anyway, look, there's plenty to improve there, especially taking advantage of those late game mates. I was pretty staggered that we managed to miss a mate in 4 there, I think it was. Especially once we had the advantage, but with 12 seconds on the clock to see that and then to actually execute, it's a little bit tough. So now how would that mate in 4 work out? Kh7 was best, Kh8, Rook G4 is a missed win, so the correct move was Rook G7. So after Rook G7, Queen takes H7, Rook takes H4, Queen G8 is forced, so after Queen G8, simply Rook H8, and I actually would have delivered check with the Rook. Now I think I missed that partly because I was expecting to deliver the checkmate with a Queen after advancing to the end of the board. So anyway, plenty to learn from. Disappointing finish, but it'll encourage me to play faster, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. If you didn't, please let me know what I could do to improve so that maybe you'll give it a like next time. Thanks for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.